Okay, so those were the definitions. You can see where I got all of those words. That was just one word where we looked up hypocrisy. Okay, so let's try another example, because I always feel that examples really explain things better. Okay, so remember, this is from the opinion part of your thesis, and this is from a student. Okay, the opinion part in their thesis was the human's innate tendency to gravitate toward the status quo. Now, when I read that thesis, I was like, ooh, this is going to be so good. Unfortunately, they didn't explain anything, and they got the big old rewrite comment on their essay. So, the human's innate tendency to gravitate towards the status quo. It's a mouthful. So use your Google trick here, okay? You can't use a single word this time, but a few key words. And here you might just have to, play around with some key words, okay? What you're looking for on Google is a list. I like lists that help you clarify and expound and add detail to that opinion. So I typed in the importance of maintaining the status quo. So like a whole series of words, okay? And in less than 15 seconds, I found a Forbes article on the first page of the search engine with 5 reasons why leaders are afraid to change the status quo. Boom. Okay, I looked at that. So like I said, I love lists. I'm always looking for lists. Okay, it gave real reasons that the student could have used to further explain his argument. Okay, so those are things that are easy to do. I mean, that's how you get those words to use, and that's how you go, oh, okay. So Google it. All right, so Google your opinion or part of your opinion. It's like, it's like a diving board that will help you jump into fully explaining your opinion. Better yet, you don't even have to think or philosophize on your own when you Google it. Somebody's already written about it. They've already created lists for you. And a lot of times it's really quick to do. You might have to play around with keywords. But honestly, the 15 years I've been writing essays and grading essays and reading them and helping students with essays, when they say they can't find anything or they don't know how to do this, it takes me less than a couple of seconds to look at their opinion, type some stuff in, and man, I find articles and lists, like I said, I'm partial to lists, that further help to justify, explain, and elaborate the opinion that you decided you were going to take for your essay. It's never failed me yet. So let's look at another example from a student whose opinion in their thesis was about, this was their opinion, the power of self-centered leaders. The power of self-centered leaders. I went, ooh, this is going to be a good one. Not so much. Why? They didn't Google it. They didn't actually do the extra step. They just repeated. I don't even remember. I just was not impressed. Okay, so what I did was I Googled traits of, I Googled a couple things. One, I Googled traits of power. So I just took the word power and I Googled traits of power, and I found lots of traits of power, and then I also found traits of a self-centered leader. Traits of a self-centered leader, and there was so much information, it was mind-boggling. The student could have taken all of that information and they could have just plugged that into like a multitude of quotes and told me that that's how a self-centered leader acts, and this is how somebody who was on a power trip acts. They didn't. They just repeated over and over again. This was power, and this was a self-centered leader. So here was another example from a paper, and this was the opinion part of their thesis: struggles of an oppressed society. Struggles of an oppressed society. Okay, this one took a little bit longer because there was just too many hits, and I had to narrow it down. I narrowed it down to oppressed groups, oppressed peoples in third world countries. I could look at oppressed women. So I had to it was like traits of or effects of oppressed people. Effects works too. Any of those words, traits of, effects of, they all work in helping you like find things that you can look at and go, oh, there we go. And this is what happened in the novel, and I can merge these two things, and now I have something amazing. Here's another example. from a student's thesis, The Struggles of Native American Alcoholism. We read Joy Harjo. A lot of her poems were about, problems on the reservation of alcoholism. And I thought, okay, this is going to be good. Once again, when I Googled this, I just Googled Native American alcoholism, and I came up with so much information. The student could have nailed their thesis by Googling some information and then seeing like what happens with all this. Okay, and she could have real information with any of the quotes that she selected. Okay, so very easy to do, but you have to Google. Super easy. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, what if it's an in-class essay, Mrs. Flores? What if I'm not allowed to use my phone? That's my teacher calls that cheating, and I have to do it sitting right at my desk. Then what do? I have another hack here. Okay. When you've written your thesis, and I hope you've written your thesis, okay, you look at your opinion, like really look at it. I don't mean like just look at it and not like think about it. Look at the words and make your own list of the words or phrases that kind of go with it. So let's use an example. Maybe you're looking at there's lots of books about the struggles of oppressed peoples. Okay, so think of the word struggle. What does struggle mean? Synonyms for struggle, right? Synonyms include hardship, difficulties. I mean, you could rattle off a bunch, right? Okay, so you write those down. Okay, good. Hardships, difficulties, and then think of oppressed people as a whole. And you don't have to have, you all take history in classes and you have all these classes, what happens when people are oppressed. You write that stuff down. They have no voice in government. They lack education, resources, opportunity. There's poverty, health concerns, lack of food or good food or fresh fruit. They have reduced employment opportunities, whatever's going to work with your thesis. So those are the struggles. So I looked at it as a whole, okay? And then, so now I've got all of these things so that when I pull out my quotes or I want to talk about it, I'm actually talking about real things instead of plopping in that quote and saying, and this shows poverty's, and this shows struggles of oppressed people. You haven't shown me what the struggle was. You know what the struggle is, then put it in there. Okay, so we're going to recap, all right? So the trick for explaining, elaborating, defining the opinion part, remember the opinion part is a short little snapshot, okay? It's just a little short opinion part of your thesis is to Google it. Google the keywords. That way you can tease out all this cool other information that you can add to your essay, okay? And if it's an in-class essay where you're not allowed to look at something, you're not allowed to go on the internet, you're not ask a neighbor, look at the words that you chose to write and write either synonyms for those words or what those words actually, as a whole, what are the struggles of? Okay, if it's you're going to talk about the hardships of love or the struggles of true love, what are the struggles of true love? Okay, that's how you do it. You don't keep repeating struggles of love through your whole paper. Okay, so a lot of times writing essays isn't about thinking hard, it's about thinking smart. Okay, and that's really what it's all about here. So 2 hacks that I gave you. I hope those will help for your papers. Super easy, and good luck on your essays, and bye-bye. Hey, if you like this and you want some more, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and give the video a thumbs up. Bye-bye. See you later.